concentrate on a famous Rabbi Moshe Meir Elyakim. Zechet Tzadik Libracha was also known as a Smach Elyakim, really great rabbi. I believe he was actually born on the 15th of Tevet, all the way back in 1871. And there's varying dates when he passed away. I believe he passed away possibly around the year 1949, most likely. And I'm not too sure the exact date when he passed away on that specific year in of itself. He was a great rabbi. It is, he was a great rabbi. It's listed somewhere else. Maybe he passed away when in the year 1939. So I'm not 100% sure when he actually passed away. There was just varying different opinions within regards to that. But he was definitely a great rabbi of his time. A rabbi I think we've spoken about on various occasions before here inside this series. So he'll be the author, I believe, of a famous book called the Sefer Milchemet Hamagen. Very, very great book of that specific time, which we're going to speak about as the class progresses as we go on. Okay, so he was born. He would go on to become a Shluchei D'Rabbanan, rabbinic emissary. He will be part of the great Jewish court in Tiberias. He will be head of Jewish court over there in Casablanca, part of the Bet Din in Mogdor in Morocco, and one of the founders of the famous Yeshivat Keter Torah in Tiberias and in Casablanca, respectively. So he was born in Tiberias, came from great rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Rabbi Nisim Elyakim, who also happened to have been a great rabbi of his time. I believe also we spoke about, I think, Rabbi Nisim on the various occasions also inside this series, which I recommend to look at that specific section of the stories of Tzaddikim that we've got there. So he would learn over there and also in Tiberias, and obviously in Tiberias at that point in time there was famous different places, famous different yeshivot there at that point in time. Tiberias is one of the 4 holy cities of Israel, respectively. I believe while he was still at a youngish age, sadly, I believe his father passed away, as reported over, and he would get married to the daughter of Rabbi Raphael Ochana. Rabbi Raphael Ochana is another rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before. He happens to have been a Shluchei D'Rabbanan, a rabbinic emissary from Tiberias, and was a great rabbi actually from Meknes himself, and the author of various great Torah works. So married into a great Torah family that we do definitely have to point out. Many of these great rabbis we do speak about did we can see that a lot of children became very, very prosperous and great in Torah, especially in many cases you could see the big difference when other great rabbis would marry into great rabbinic families. So I think come what the year 1900, that point in time he'll be in his very late 20s, he would form a setup or create at that stage in time, along with Rabbi Yaakov Chai Zerihen, and I think with Rabbi Aaron Halevi Skali, the Yeshivat Keter Torah in Tiberias. Remember, we've spoken about this issue before. It's actually interesting. One of the first videos we recorded on this series was a biography mini video with regards to Rabbi Yaakov Chai Zerihen, who was a Rosh Yeshiva, head of Jewish court in Tiberias, and one of the great rabbis of the city. Also, we spoke about him very, very early on in the series. So once again, we get to speak about his brilliance also within regards to the great Rabbi Elyakim, who we happen to be speaking about today in today's class also. So what's interesting is, I believe come what the year 1911, he will actually go out on a rabbinic emissary project from Tiberias to Egypt, and I think various different cities in North Africa, respectively, over there. I think that was time period of the First World War, and that would be a problem all over the world. 1919, he would be appointed a position as part of the Chaver Bet Din in Mogdor, respectively, a very prominent position. 1920 will see him return to Tiberias, and he will become once again appointed a Chaver Bet Din over there. I think of the Bet Din of Rabbi Eliyahu Yaluz, if I'm not mistaken. He was himself great Posek Halachan, head of Jewish court in Tiberias, so that will be there. And that was alongside also Rabbi Yaakov Chai Zerihen, who we spoke about, was one of the founders of that yeshiva. Come with the winter of 1922, he would once again go out on a rabbinic emissary project to Algeria now, and which was, I think he was, interesting enough, I think he would conclude going to Casablanca also, and would do various importances there from a Torah point of view. In February 1924, he'll be appointed to be the head of the Jewish court of the city. He was found of the yeshiva of, once again, Yeshivat Keter Torah, and this was under great, let's just say, rabbinic structure over there in of itself, respectively, I believe. And yes, just like there was a yeshiva, let's just say, that was actually created in Tiberias of that there, he would also let's just say open that up over there in the other place also, and he was responsible, I think, for the financial side, and would set up what teaching methods. Let's just say he would actually make a rabbinic structure over there inside that specific place in of itself, including two famous rabbanim, Rabbi Shimon Abi Ktzitz, another great rabbi we're talking about, and Rabbi Shimon Baruch Ochayon, another great rabbi we've spoken before. Obviously, he was a Rosh Yeshiva of Keter Torah, he was a butcher, he was a shochet, he was a bodek, also in Casablanca, very famous rabbi. I think later on he would actually become a rabbi in Jaffa, if I'm not mistaken, author of various different Torah colossal work. Then Kamot, I believe it was the year 1925, at that stage in time. There was once again, he would, I think at that stage in time, there was, he was going, I think, to various other places. I think, especially, I think maybe he would visit Tunisia, Morocco, various different other places in of itself. And much more would actually, remember, this was way after the time period of the First World War at that point in time. And there was a lot of halachic, robust debates that was going on at that stage in time. And I think much was said within regards to him, and it was actually, let's say, corresponding with many great rabbis at that point in time. And I think there was a lot of, it was a time period where I think some of his books would actually come out, and was, he was obviously going from place to place and doing huge amounts of stuff, let's just say, in of itself. Now, I think he passed away in Heitav Shin Tet. That was the Hebrew year. I think that was possibly 1949, but somewhere else did say it was 1939, so we'll have to double check on that. But seemingly, just using the data on Wikipedia, it says 1949. He was buried in the old, I think, cemetery in Casablanca, I believe. I think next to Rabbi Abraham Abu Chatzera, if I'm not mistaken, over there. And I think near Rabbi Chaim Pinto. And I think afterwards, in his place, Rabbi Chaim David Ben Sosan would take over his position, if I'm not mistaken. Would have great students. I think Rabbi Shlomo Yaluz, for example, very great rabbi, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Yaluz, and Rabbi Baruch Toledano. These were great rabbis of various different times. So Rabbi Shlomo Yaluz actually would go on to be head of Jewish court, and let's say Rav Rashi of Luv, of Libya, and the head of the Otzah HaTorah, the Mostot in Casablanca at that point in time. It was a school system, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Head of Jewish court also, I think, in Ashdod, and be various parts of Zionistic committees at later stages in time. So, but I was also very close with Rabbi Baruch Toledano, who was also an educator and a man of the congregation, and part that would be the founder of Shchonat Rambam, and was a historian also, let's just say, in himself, and head of Jewish court in Jaffa. So that's very interesting. What were the books that he actually left? He left various different teachings, novelties were printed. I think, in of itself, I think called in Davar Na'eh. I think it might have been in conjunction with some of his father's books, if I'm not mistaken. The Davar Na'eh, Chidushim, various different teachings on the halacha, on the Sifrei Rishonim and Achronim, respectively. Then there was Chada Na'eh, which is various different drushim and chidushim on Parshat, the Parshiyot inside the Torah, the five Megillot also would concentrate on Mishlei, the book of Proverbs, the book of Tehillim, and so on and so forth. So that was very important work. And Milchemet Hamagen, as we've spoken about at the start of this video, very much talking about the various different mitzvot, so on and so forth. I think various different other, let's just say, volumes were actually printed, I think, in Sefer Yosef Shlomo, I think, which was in conjunction with Rabbi Shlomo HaKohen Saban, another great rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before here in this series. So it's very, very interesting, friends. And friends, we're a community over here. We're learning about famous rabbis yesteryear. Now, if you descend from any of the great rabbis we're speaking about, please send an email. It's actually interesting. The Sefer Milchemet Hamagen, I believe, was printed actually in the year 1925 in Casablanca, and it contains 73 pages, respectively, the great book does. So that's also very, very interesting. So he was famous Shadar, Shluchei D'Rabbanan of his time. I think much is chronicled over within regards to him. I think it's actually interesting. Moshe David Gaon, the famous historian, also chronicled him and mentioned him inside his very, very important Torah colossal work, which I recommend everyone to watch a video we recorded on Moshe David Gaon, who was one of the famous historians of the last 200 years, without a doubt. So friends, as I said before, please subscribe to the channel. We're nearing a staggering 7,500 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement, friends. So if you feel anyone's interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people. Also help join the community. And if you feel if we've spoken about any of the great rabbis you descend from, please let me know. Who do you descend from? Would you like us to speak about the rabbis or not? Check our stories of tzaddikim section over there and see if maybe we have spoken about your rabbi or not. It will actually be very, very interesting to know. And we're trying to get through as an encyclopedia, let's just say, on the famous rabbis of yesteryear. So we're speaking over here about Rabbi Elyakim. And please join the channel. We don't just record videos here of great rabbis of yesteryear. We're exploring different yeshivot that were about of previous times also, which I feel is very, very important, especially in the North African countries we are trying to concentrate on. And we've spoken about various different other countries quite recently, also, which is that exciting project where we're looking about who were the great rabbis in the countries, what was the infrastructure like in of itself, and so on and so forth. So that is something also another project we're embarking on and doing so much more for Am Yisrael. So wishing you all a fantastic day. Take care. And in advance, a Shana Tova Umetzuka and a Ktiva V'Chatima Tova to all you fantastic listeners. Thank you.